Afternoon, everyone. Uh, I hope you all are keeping well, staying at home, eating healthy, and following the good, healthy hygienic practices. So, today we are going to talk about reproduction in animals. In the previous lectures, we have spoken about reproduction in plants. Okay, fine, let's continue with that. Animals के अंदर अगर हम reproduction की बात करें तो how do they reproduce? Whether they reproduce sexually or asexually? Well, they do it by both the ways, sexual as well as asexual. Asexual organisms, if we talk about them, so the process takes place in the lower organisms, which are less developed, which do not have or which do not possess the specialized sex organs. So that will be done in the lower organisms. If I talk about the developed organisms, they undergo the process of sexual reproduction because they have specialized structures, they have got specialized sex organs, they've got specialized reproductive systems for carrying out this process. Okay, well, there is a basic difference between the two, sexual and asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction provides you variations. It gives you a chance of better survival. So the progeny is going to be possessing different properties, different characteristic features as compared to both the parents, because there are like two parents being involved which are giving their own gametes. So the organism is going to be different from the parents. So herein we are going to discuss different terms, different you can say processes which are involved as process of sexual reproduction. Okay, first term that I'm going to talk about is sexuality in organisms, whether they are unisexual or are they bisexual. Unisexual organisms वो होते हैं जिनके अंदर आपको single sex organs देखने को मिलते हैं, let's say testis or ovary, or male or the female counterparts. The process or the phenomena will be known as sexual dimorphism. The word di means two and the word morph means form. So two different forms of the sexes, that is male and the female. Next is bisexual organisms. Plants के case में भी we are able to see that there are unisexual flowers as well as bisexual flowers. The flowers which are possessing just the stamen, they are called as you can say the male counterparts, and the flowers which are possessing carpels are called as female flowers, and the ones which are possessing both are called as hermaphroditic or bisexual flowers. Right. Similarly, in case of animals as well, we are able to see certain organisms which are possessing both the sexes in the same organism, that are hermaphrodites, and the phenomena is known as hermaphroditism. For example, slugs, इनको हम nudibranchs भी बोलते हैं, या फिर earthworm, in which you can say spermathecae as well as oothecae are being produced by the same individual. Herein I would like to quote or put a special emphasis on a term called as parthenogenesis. The word parthenogenesis is made up of two different terms. The word parthenos means virgin and the word genesis means formation. So parthenogenesis वो एक process होता है in which you can say the new organism is produced without you can say the egg getting being fertilized by the sperm cells. Herein I would like to take an example of Aspidocellus uniparens, as the name itself suggests. It's a desert lizard in which you only see the females. But how will they, will be able to manage this process of reproduction? So what happens is, as the animal kingdom is a little silly, these lizards, female lizards, they have got this capability of changing or you can say modifying their sexes. So they modify their sexes for the certain amount of time, they become male counterpart and the other one remains as a female. They carry out this process of mating and then they produce individuals. So this is a little unique in animal kingdom. Okay, fine. Moving further, and we're talking about the term called as fertilization. Fertilization is a process in which the fusion of the male and the female gametes takes place. Sperm और ovum के fusion को हम लोग fertilization कहते हैं. But fertilization के लिए the sperm and ovum has to be brought into close contact or brought into close proximity. So उसको नजदीक लेके आने के लिए we have got these processes of fertilization, that is internal fertilization and external fertilization. If I talk about internal fertilization takes place inside the body. Let's say if I talk about human beings के बारे में हम बात करते हैं तो we have got specialized reproductive structures which helps in transfer of the sperm cells into the female genital tract, that is into the vagina. We make use of penis for transfer of these sperm cells into the female genital tract. So the process takes place inside the body. That is why we're calling it as internal fertilization. If I talk about external fertilization, that happens or that takes place outside the body. Right, that must be taking inside certain media. For example, if I talk about fishes and amphibians, so they release their sperm cells and egg cells inside the water bodies, and by release of certain hormones, fertilize and anti-fertilize, they identify whether these sperm cells and egg cells belong to the same species, and if yes, they will fuse with each other and they will lead to the production of zygote. ओके, स्पंजेस के अंदर जो हमारे सिंपलेस्ट काइंड ऑफ एनिमल्स होते हैं, दे रिलीजेस टाइनी orbs that contain sperms and egg cells. These sperms and egg cells, they will again fuse and they will lead to the production of the huge colonies of the coral reefs. Okay, next will be after the formation of, you can say, zygote. What will be the next you can say stage? Next will be development. अब development कैसे होगा? Right, there is a term called as embryogenesis. हर एक इंडिविजुअल ऑर्गेनिज्म के अंदर there is a process called as embryogenesis. There is a unique amount of time for which the embryo is going to stay inside the body of a mother, inside the womb or inside the gest. That is why it is called as gestation period. So it varies from individual animal to animal. For example, humans का 9 months होता है, cow में different होगा, elephant में different होगा. So in different organism it will be different. But the process of development could be direct or it could be indirect. How? Direct you can say development वो process होता है in which there are no intermediate stages being seen. Let's say humans की हम लोग बात करें, तो हमारा जो process होता है, we do not see any intermediate stages. If I talk about fishes, if I talk about amphibians, if I talk about insects, they have got several intermediate stages in the process of development. That process is called as metamorphosis. Fine. So these includes egg, larva, tadpole, and then finally we achieve an adult. So this is called as indirect development, wherein we see different stages of life. You can see in the Lepidopterans, butterflies के केस में आप देख सकते हो, वहाँ पे caterpillar बनता है and then finally it becomes a mature butterfly. So these stages are going to be different from each other. In case of frogs, a tadpole is going to be different from a larva, and larva is going to be different from a mature adult frog. उनका process of respiration different होगा, उनका process of survival different होगा. So this is how it takes place in indirect development. सो लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट, जो हम लोग बात कर रहे थे फ्यूजन ऑफ गैमीट्स की, सो गैमीट्स की प्रोडक्शन के लिए आपको कुछ स्पेशलाइज्ड स्ट्रक्चर्स चाहिए होते हैं, दैट आर कॉल्ड एज गोनाड्स. And gonads in case of males are testes, in case of females they are called as ovaries. So moving further, हम लोग इनके बारे में डिस्कशन करेंगे अपने नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में, wherein we are going to have a detailed discussion about sexual reproduction in human beings. So fine, thank you so much, stay healthy and keep smiling. Thank you.